Hiya, hiya. I come to you today as an intellectual, pseudo-intellectual, from my friend A Smile, a Grin, a Laugh. That's Life. This is co-written actually, by John Galasso and his daughter, Victoria Galasso. And he's the guy that was most famous for being seen with Pat Cooper all the time because these guys are best of friends. And Pat did the opening and the closing on this book, which is very wonderful. It's about healing. When if you have something terminal, you have to believe in laughter, and you have to do something about it. So you may as well sing and laugh and dance. That's what you got to do. You can't just sit there and molt like my bird. Here it is now. In the 13th century, one doctor who particularly tried to use humor to heal was Henri de Mondeville, known as the father of French surgery. Now, Mondeville incorporated laughter into his patients' roads to recovery by instructing the friends and family of patients to tell them jokes during recovery. Mondeville aimed to let joy and happiness help cure the patient's entire body and spirit. The surgeon knew how intricately the mind and the body were connected and truly believed by alleviating the stress of illness, patients could laugh themselves back to good health. Now, that's a wonderful theory, and I believe in it. I think some people think they're funny, though, and they're not. They're not very. That's the other thing. Once in a while, I think I'm humorous, and people will say, that's inappropriate, or it's not very funny. But sometimes inappropriate is funny. There's a difference between humor and irony. Humor makes you laugh or smile, and irony just makes you think. And you say, oh, wow, that's ironic, or I wasn't thinking of that, or that's new, or gee, what a thought. This is humor that we're talking about now. People who say things that are funny or that make you laugh out loud, as they call it, LOL, if you're doing it on Facebook or any one of the platforms. It's not just Facebook. So here we go now. A smile, a grin, and a laugh. That's life. And I will tell you that the Pat Cooper, legendary comedian, says, I just found out I am not only a comedian, but also a doctor. You wouldn't want him to operate on you. Maybe you do. My favorite story with Pat is when he got the hearing aid through Jerry Lewis, who was very famous with doctors because of his MS, it's MD, which is also the initials for doctors. And he had raised money for years, and he had all the doctors around him who were excellent in every field, just about. And hearing, Pat was losing his hearing. So he went to Minneapolis, and they had like a $50,000 hearing aid they put in his ear, or both ears, and he was hearing perfectly. He could hear a bowling pin drop if he were a block away from the alley when he was in that studio where they were proceeding with placing this stuff in his ear. And he loved it. It was great. He says, then he went outside, and with all the traffic, couldn't hear anything. The thing only works in the office, he said. But he's funny. Anyway, that's Pat Cooper's experience with having some fun with the tragedy, which is the hearing, loss of hearing. A lot of people are looking at me right now, reading my lips. It's a book that you need to buy, A Smile, a Grin, a Laugh, That's Life. And it's available online by Victoria Galasso and John Galasso. It's a wrap.